Today I'm going to show you how I make a simple starch-based meal with lots of vegetables and just really simple spices. It takes me about 2 minutes to throw it together every day in the Instapot, and my husband especially really likes just eating this and enjoys the different combinations I come up with every day. Just takes me a couple minutes to prepare, and it's one of the ways I keep our family of 4 whole food plant-based and eating really healthy whole foods day in, day out with minimal time commitment. So the first thing we'll need is definitely the Instapot. You can make this on stovetop, but boy, oh boy, does it save me time. I think the biggest benefit of the Instapot is not so much the actual cooking time savings, because by the time it builds up to pressure and releases, it actually doesn't save all that much time to me. But I don't have to babysit it. So I set it and I forget it. And you'll see I actually often set it the night before so it can cook the next day for my husband. And this is just an absolute lifesaver for me as a busy homeschooling mom of 2 who also works very a mix between part and full time actually. So I have a lot going on, and I also want to feed our family healthy whole food plant-based meals day in, day out. So it takes every trick in the book to save myself some time and keep us really fueled in a great way. All right, so I actually took out more ingredients than I even need for this dish, just to show you some of the combos I sometimes come up with. I typically throw 1 grain into the meal. So this is millet, this is brown rice. I think today I'll actually use the brown rice. And then typically a lentil, just because it's quick cooking. Right now I have red lentils and brown lentils, or I guess you could call them green lentils, I think. But sometimes I use black, sometimes I use mung beans, sometimes I use cooked beans, sometimes I throw both in. There is really no way to go wrong with this. And then I also use 3 bags of frozen vegetables. I like the ones from Walmart just because they're cheap and convenient for us. And I usually throw in all sorts of different combinations, sometimes onions, sometimes some fresh stuff, just a whole smattering of different vegetables every day. And my husband really enjoys the variety. I have some water. And then I have some seasonings. Today, I often like just using some kind of a really simple all-in-one mix. He likes a lot of spice though, so sometimes I'll put, just chili powder and garlic and onion, often garlic and onion, just dried. I do not bother with sauteing vegetables or anything like that. Almost everything I cook is either in the Instapot or the microwave, and in the oven. I guess I bake some squares and things, but this is really the staples we eat day in, day out are Instapot friendly, and they need to be. I can't handle complicated recipes. So let's get started. So the first thing I do for my husband is I usually measure out about 3/4 of a cup or so grain, something like that. Again, this is really malleable. You can do whatever you like. Sometimes I do more, sometimes I do less. But this is what works for us. And then I fill up the rest of the cup with lentils. So it's about a cup total of lentils and grain. Sometimes I do more lentils, sometimes more grain, doesn't matter. I try to just give them a little bit of variety each day. And then I just take this, dump it in the Instapot. Can't get simpler. Then I just take some garlic, dried garlic, and I just pour in a, oops, that was quite a lot, but pour in a bit of that. And I'll pull this insert out so you can see. And then I pour in a bit of dried onion, quite a lot of that typically. I do not measure almost anything. And then I just take some Mrs. Dash and throw that in. Again, he likes a lot of flavor, so I do quite a lot of flavor, but you could go with more or less. And then I take about 3 cups water. So I know sometimes people say you need hardly any water for the Instapot, but I don't find that to be the case at all. So I find it almost the same as the stovetop. So I am counting about 1.5 cups of water for the brown rice, and then about another 3/4 or so cup for the lentils, and then I just usually add a little bit more water to that so it doesn't get out. But again, it's a little soupy like that. You can kind of play around with it and see what works for you. Then I just dump in these frozen veggies. These are not thawed. I literally am about as lazy as you can get in the kitchen, and I found it just doesn't make a difference. It all tastes fine. And we are about eating to live. We enjoy our food. We like that it tastes good, but our taste buds have really gotten used to simple, delicious, wholesome food. So I put that on, and I'll show you how I set it. So if you are not familiar with the Instapot and you are going whole food plant-based or just desiring to feed your family healthfully and don't have much time to mess around the kitchen or don't care to, the Instapot is just my most valuable tool. I actually have 3 of them and I often use them. Actually, there's one that's working right now on a different meal I'm cooking. So I highly recommend it for time saving. So I just, with this model, I just make sure the lid's on first of all. So you want to click it on until it's all the way turned to the right. And on the top, you're going to look and it should be pointed all the way to sealing. You don't want it like this or all the water will evaporate and just steam out of here and wreck your covers. So we want to leave it to sealing. And then we just hit pressure cook. I do everything basically on pressure cook setting, just super simple. Pressure cook, and I do anything with lentils, I do 30 minutes. And I know it's way more than a lot of people do, but I find that is what it takes. We like things soft, and that's what it takes for us to cook. I don't, again, find Instapot to be huge time savings per se, but the beauty is this. Now I'm gonna hit delay start. And I'm actually gonna say 12 hours from now, because that's when I want it to start. There is no meat in here. There's frozen stuff. By the time it thaws and then cooks at pressure, I am not concerned about any diseases or bacteria or anything like that. So this is what I do. This is how I make it work for our family. Now I leave it, and I do not need to think about this at all until it naturally pressure releases after it's done in 12 hours from now. So I could just as easily cook it right now, or I could delay it to be a couple hours from now. But this is the beauty of the Instapot and the time it saves me. I will show you how another version of this turns out in just a few minutes. So the Instapot has released. It's actually been on the warm setting. I have no idea why it says L, but that's what it says once it's done. And it's actually been counting now for 1 hour and 9 minutes, a long time because I've been caught up with other things. So that's fine though. I put all the liquid from the dish in with my husband's vegetable and grain in here. So we still get all the nutrients. Yes, some of them probably are bleached out into the water, and some might not be quite as good as if we ate them raw, but we're okay with that because we eat very nutrient dense foods anyway. So let's get to scooping. You can see what it looks like. All right, so I'm just gonna take that lid off. You just unlock it. This is all full of water, so I tend to like dump that in the sink and then just leave it like this to air dry. I don't bother washing it and stuff. It's usually clean. If ever the liquid boils up, I just give it a quick scrub, but usually it just kind of stays clean. Turn this off, so I just canceled it. I take my oven mitt and I just scoop it into what we lovingly call my husband's trough, because we eat large portions, and he'll sometimes feed from this for like the whole evening. He'll just kind of, eat his dinner and then munch on it as a snack later. And if there's ever leftovers, we just store it in the fridge overnight. But I just scoop this all in, and then one trick with when you're cooking starches is right away soak this in water, and then it comes clean really, really easily. If you let it dry, it's kind of nasty to clean up, I find. So I'm going to do that and just start it rinsing. And then I'll just show you what this looks like. So it may not look amazing, brown and green, but this one I think was yesterday, the one I made. It's pretty mushy because it's millet, actually. Millet and brown lentils, and I put dried garlic and onion and some smoked paprika in there, and he really likes that combination as well. So that'll be his dinner when he gets home in just a little bit. Hope you enjoy this. Like and subscribe and comment below if you also like keeping it simple. Thanks.